In a quiet village surrounded by tall trees and windy footpaths lived Sara, a 19-year-old orphan known throughout the land for her rare beauty. She lived humbly with her grandmother in a small mud house at the edge of the village. Though poor, they shared warmth, laughter, and love. Sarah's beauty, however, brought her little peace. Men admired her openly, some respectfully, others with hungry eyes. Women whispered when she passed, and girls her age watched her with jealousy. She thinks she is better than us, some would say. Beauty won't have her forever, others murmured. One bright morning, the king's messenger arrived. Villagers gathered around him. Hear ye, he proclaimed. The prince will visit during the festive season. A maiden ceremony shall be held, and from among you he will choose his bride. The village erupted with excitement. Guests ran home smiling, already dreaming of silk gowns and palace walls. But beneath the joy lay fear. Fear that Sarah would steal the spotlight without even trying. That evening, Amara, the chief's daughter, sat proudly in her father's compound. I am the obvious choice, she said confidently.
I am the obvious choice. I have beauty, wealth, and connections. What about Sara?
Simpson asked quietly. Amara's eyes darkened. She must be dead weight. Not long after, fate took its course. One afternoon, Sarah was returning from the market. A basket balanced on her head as she hummed softly. Suddenly, a young man stepped onto the narrow bush path. Good day, maiden, he said kindly. Good day, Sarah replied. You have a lovely voice. May I know your name? She smiled faintly. Forgive me, sir. My grandmother taught me not to speak to strangers. The young man watched her walk away, his heart strangely stirred. That night at the palace, he could think of nothing else. Mother, father, the prince said, today I met a girl, simple, graceful, unlike anyone I have known. I hope she attends the ceremony. Back in the village, Sarah's grandmother gently asked, will you go to the ceremony, my child? Sarah sighed. I fear being mocked. I am poor, grandma. Her grandmother held her hands. Never fear where destiny may call you. 2 days before the ceremony, Mimi, Chisom, and Amara came to Sarah's house, smiling sweetly. We are practicing dances by the river, Mimi said. You should come, Chisom added. Sarah hesitated but agreed. At the river bank, laughter suddenly turned cruel. She doesn't belong here, Amara sneered. And with a shove, they pushed Sarah into the river. She screamed and struggled, water filling her mouth. Help me, she cried. But the guests kept on laughing. Go and eat your beauty amongst the fishes. You don't belong here. They laughed, and they left her to her fate. As her strength faded, a glowing figure appeared beside her, the gentle face of her late mother. Do not fear, my child, the spirit whispered, holding her afloat. Just then, a fisherman passing by shouted, Hey, someone is drowning! He put Sarah from the water and rushed her to safety. The fisherman and his wife nursed her back to health and returned her home. That night, Sarah wept as she told her grandmother everything. The day of the ceremony arrived. Drums thundered, dancers spun, and maidens lined up proudly. Amara stood tall, certain of victory. The prince searched the crowd anxiously until Sara entered, holding her grandmother's hand with the fisherman beside her. Before the ceremony could begin, Sarah spoke. They tried to kill me, she said, pointing her the three girls, her voice steady. The girls protested loudly. She's lying, Amara shouted. I saw them, the fisherman said firmly. They fled the river and left her to die. The crowd fell silent. The prince stood, walked towards Sara, and gently took her hand. This is the girl I told you about, he said to the king and queen. She is my choice. She is my wife. As the prince declared his choice, murmurs rippled through the crowd. The king rose slowly from his throne, his face dark with anger. Silence! He commanded. The crowd fell still. He turned to Mimi, Chisom, and Amara, who now trembled where they stood. Is it true, the king asked, his voice heavy, that you pushed an innocent maiden into the river and left her to die? The guests fell to their knees. We were jealous, Mimi cried. Please forgive us. making some beg. Amara said nothing, her pride finally broken. The king's eyes hardened. Jealousy that leads to murder has no place in my kingdom. He raised his staff and spoke loudly so all could hear. You plotted evil and nearly took a life. For this crime, you shall be taken to the evil forest. It's where darkness dwells and left to face the fate you wish upon another. Gasps filled the air.
Gods, take them to the evil forest!
The guards seized the girls as they screamed and cried, "No, please, we are sorry." As they were dragged away, Sarah closed her eyes, holding the prince's hand tightly. "Let this be a lesson," the king said to the crowd. "Evil done in secret would always come to light." The drums resumed, slower and solemn at first, then joyful once more. Justice had been served. Later that evening, the queen took Sarah's hand gently. "You have suffered much, my child," she said. "From today, you are no longer alone." The prince smiled at Sara. "My kingdom will honor your kindness, not your beauty alone." And so, Sarah rose from near death to the palace throne, not by revenge, but by truth and grace. The village never forgot the fate of those who chose envy over kindness, and peace returned to the land. So the moral of the story is that those who dig a pit for others often fall into it themselves, but innocence will always rise.